Hey, and welcome to this episode of Matched Betting Uncovered, brought to you by ProfitDuel.
Glad to be here. I'm really excited to get into the details today.
Yeah, it's an important one because today we are basically undertaking a very specific, vital mission for this deep dive into our internal guides. We're going to explore how to protect your matched betting profits.
Right, by keeping your sportsbook accounts healthy.
Exactly. Healthy, open, and entirely restriction-free. Because, imagine walking into a glittering casino. You sit down at the high-stakes blackjack table, and you're playing with just flawless mathematical precision. And eventually, the floor manager taps you on the shoulder and politely asks you to cash out and leave.
And the crazy thing is, you didn't even cheat.
Right. You didn't count cards illegally, you didn't do anything shady, you just beat their math.
Yeah, which is genuinely the holy grail of this entire endeavor we're talking about today.
Definitely.
I mean, you can possess the most sophisticated math, the fastest odds-matching software, the best bankroll management in the world.
But if they don't let you play...
Exactly. If the platform won't let you physically place the bet, all of that advantage just evaporates instantly. The sportsbooks dictate the arena.
Yeah, so if you've been around the matched betting community for any length of time, you've inevitably heard those terrifying whispers about getting limited or gubbed.
Oh, yeah. Gubbed is the classic term.
Right. It's basically the digital equivalent of that casino manager tapping your shoulder. The house suddenly realizes they no longer hold a statistical edge over you, so they just ask you to step away.
Yeah, they see you methodically extracting value.
But I assume it's rarely a dramatic, account-deleting explosion on day one. Right.
Yeah.
How do they actually sideline a player?
Well, it's far more insidious than a giant red banner across your screen.
Right.
You have to remember, sportsbooks are fundamentally massive data processing businesses. They are entirely reliant on taking action from recreational bettors who, over the long run, will inevitably lose money to the built-in house edge.
Because of the VIG.
Exactly. And when you engage in matched betting, you subvert that entire model. You're systematically guaranteeing profit using their own promotions.
Which they hate.
They absolutely despise it. Because of this, their algorithms are incredibly sophisticated. They're constantly scanning millions of data points to identify players who fit a sharp profile.
Wow, millions of data points.
Oh, yeah. And when they find you, they don't usually ban you outright. They usually put you in a sort of penalty box first. We call this being promo banned.
Okay, so they put you in purgatory.
Basically, yeah.
They'll still gladly take your money if you want to gamble blindly on a massive parlay, but they cut off the one mathematical advantage you had.
Precisely. Your account remains technically active. You can log in, you can deposit funds, and place standard wagers.
But the bonuses are gone.
Completely locked out, no lucrative bonus offers, no risk-free bets, deposit matches, odds boosts, none of it.
And for someone relying on matched betting,
Yeah,
that effectively kills the golden goose.
it does. Those promotions are the engine of your profit. Without them, you're just a regular gambler.
And if you keep pushing it, or if your behavior is just glaringly obvious, I imagine they escalate from that purgatory to, a full execution.
Yeah, that would be the second level. That's known as a complete ban.
Yikes.
The sportsbook simply decides your action is toxic to their bottom line in any capacity. They close the account, they return your remaining funds, and they bar you from the platform entirely.
Which brings us to the main point of this deep dive. The overarching goal of every single strategy we discussed today boils down to one word, right? Camouflage.
Camouflage. That is the perfect framework.
You must train yourself to make your highly calculated clinical betting activity look completely indistinguishable from an average recreational sports fan.
Just someone throwing down a few bucks to make a Sunday football game more exciting.
Exactly. So before we even analyze the mathematics of the wagers themselves, we have to evaluate the behavior leading up to the bet.
This is where most people mess up, honestly.
Right. Because looking at our internal data, it's clear these algorithms track how you use their applications, not just what you end up betting on.
Very true.
Think about this in real-world terms. If you sprint into a grocery store, run frantically down aisle 4, grab exactly one highly specific brand of imported hot sauce, and then sprint to the register to pay with exact change.
Store security is going to monitor you.
Exactly. It's highly unusual, erratic behavior. So translating that to a digital sportsbook environment, bidding a highly specific, unrounded amount, like, say, $23.69, seems to trigger those exact same algorithmic alarm bells.
It absolutely does. And it really comes down to understanding human psychology versus machine logic.
Right.
A normal recreational bettor, they operate in round numbers. If you're sitting on your couch watching a basketball game with your friends, you might decide to put $20 or $25 on the Lakers to cover the spread.
Right. You don't arbitrarily decide to risk $23.69.
You don't. Unless, of course, you are using a matched betting calculator to determine the absolute mathematically perfect hedge required to guarantee a specific profit margin.
Down to the penny.
Down to the penny. And that is the exact signal you are broadcasting.
So the algorithm just flags it instantly.
Immediately. When a Sportsbook's algorithm processes a wager for $23.69, it assumes, correctly, that you are using third-party software to calculate arbitrage or matched betting hedges. It's a massive, glowing red flag.
So what's the fix?
The tactical adjustment here is remarkably simple. Just round your bets to the nearest $5 or $10.
Okay, so bet 25 instead of 23.69.
Exactly. Yes. By doing this, you might sacrifice a tiny fraction of a cent on your optimal mathematical return, but you are buying yourself immense account longevity.
Right, it's a necessary cost of doing business.
A very small cost for a very big reward.
And I imagine that grocery store sprint analogy applies heavily to how you physically navigate the app's interface as well, right?
Unquestionably. Consider the user journey of a casual fan. They open the app on their phone. They scroll aimlessly through the upcoming live games.
Maybe check out some baseball matchups.
Right. Maybe they tap into a game, browse through the player prop bets to see how many strikeouts a pitcher might get.
Basically just dawdling.
Dawdling is exactly what it is. They navigate back to the home screen, check their account balance, and eventually settle on a moneyline bet.
But a matched bettor doesn't dawdle.
Not at all. A matched bettor is often racing the clock to beat moving lines. So they log in, navigate directly to a highly specific, predetermined game, execute their wager, and log out entirely within, 15 seconds.
Wow. And to an algorithm tracking session time and screen tap, that doesn't look like a human being enjoying a product. It looks robotic and predatory.
It looks entirely clinical, so the recommendation is to deliberately waste a little time. Take a minute or two.
Scroll around.
Yeah, scroll around the interface. Click on a few different sports markets to mimic a casual user exploring their options. Give the Sportsbooks tracking software the browsing data of a bored recreational sports fan before you strike.
Okay, so we are rounding our bet amounts and we're scrolling through the app like a casual fan looking for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But once our browsing behavior looks perfectly normal,
Mm-hmm.
the actual wagers we choose to place need to blend into the crowd just as seamlessly.
This is crucial.
And here is where I'm going to challenge what might seem like an intuitive strategy.
Okay, let's hear it.
If I am looking for an edge or, trying to hide my sharp action, shouldn't I be digging into obscure markets?
Oh, boy.
I mean, I'm thinking about tiny college tennis matches in the middle of the night or a third division European soccer league where the sportsbooks might not be paying close attention. Doesn't the darkness of an obscure market hide me better than the spotlight of the Super Bowl?
It is a very common, very logical assumption, and it is arguably the most dangerous mistake a matched bettor can make.
Wait, really? The most dangerous?
Absolutely, because you are neglecting the fundamental concept of market liquidity.
Okay, let's define that clearly, because the mechanics of liquidity seem to dictate everything a sportsbook does.
They really do.
Right.
Liquidity essentially refers to the total volume of money flowing into a specific betting market from all users.
Okay.
Let's use the Super Bowl as our baseline. The liquidity on the Super Bowl money line is staggering. We are talking hundreds of millions of dollars pouring in from every demographic imaginable.
Right, everyone and their grandmother is betting on it.
Exactly. So if you place a mathematically precise $500 matched bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, your money is a single microscopic drop in an absolute ocean of cash.
Ah, I see.
The sportsbook cannot possibly distinguish your calculated drop from the millions of recreational drops surrounding it. You are entirely invisible.
But if I pivot to that obscure college tennis match?
The dynamic flips completely. The total liquidity on that obscure late-night tennis match might be a meager $2,000 across the entire sportsbook platform.
Wow, okay.
If you suddenly drop a $500 wager on that tiny market, you aren't a drop in the ocean anymore. You are a massive whale thrashing around in a very small bathtub.
That is a great visual. You stick out immediately.
Immediately. Sportsbook algorithms are programmed to automatically review large bets on small, illiquid markets. They instantly suspect you might have insider information or you are exploiting a stale line they forgot to update.
So the camouflage isn't the darkness. The camouflage is the crowd itself.
Hide in plain sight. You want to stick exclusively to massive, highly liquid markets. NFL, NBA, MLB main lines.
The money lines, point spreads, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Point spreads, total points scored. Avoid the obscure sports. Avoid the hyper-specific player props, like, betting on how many rebounds a backup point guard will get in the second quarter.
Especially when you are moving significant money.
Yes. In those massive mainstream pools of bets, your wagers generate zero algorithmic friction.
That reframes the entire approach. And that strategy actually ties directly into another behavioral trick, the concept of regular non-promotional betting.
Mug bets.
Right, mug bets. Because if you think about the casino analogy, if you only ever show up to the floor when the pit boss is handing out free drink vouchers, and you disappear the second the vouchers run out.
They're going to categorize you as a drain on resources.
Exactly. You have to prove to the sportsbook that you're willing to play even when there isn't a bonus attached. But since the entire point of matched betting is to avoid gambling, how do we place a regular bet safely?
It requires a strategic sacrifice.
Okay, what does that look like?
You find a very tight market on a major event, say an NBA point spread. You place a standard bet on your main sportsbook, and you immediately hedge it on another platform.
But you're going to lose money on that, right?
Yes. Because of the VIG, or the built-in margin that sportsbooks charge, you will inevitably take a tiny mathematical loss.
Like how much?
We are talking about losing perhaps 10 or 20 cents on a $20 wager.
So you are essentially paying 20 cents to purchase a cloak of invisibility.
That is exactly how you should view it. You are buying camouflage. The sportsbook software sees you logging in on a Tuesday and placing a totally normal bet without utilizing a promo code.
And their system automatically categorizes you as a regular, profitable-to-them customer.
Exactly. That 20-cent loss is a micro-investment in the long-term health of your account. It ensures you stay off the radar for the next massive promotion.
I love the framing of buying camouflage. All right, so we are browsing normally, we are sticking to the deep ocean markets, and we are sprinkling in regular bets.
Right.
Now we have to execute the fundamental match betting maneuver, the hedge, without tipping off the book.
This is where things get tricky for a lot of people.
And the best guiding principle I have for this is, don't eat where you sleep.
A perfect rule.
Like, if a platform gives you a $100 bonus bet, and you use that bonus to back the Yankees, under no circumstances can you place your hedge bet on the Red Sox on that exact same platform.
Doing that is algorithmic suicide.
Wow, suicide.
It is the fastest possible route to a permanent ban. If you bet both sides of the same game on the same platform, you are explicitly demonstrating to their risk management team that you are not gambling.
Because they can see both sides of the ledger.
Exactly. They see you're just mechanically extracting their promotional funds. Always, always place your hedge bet on a completely different platform.
But if I can't hedge on the same platform, I'd assume I have to constantly hunt down another traditional sportsbook offering the exact opposite odds. That sounds tedious.
And it eats into margins.
Right. This is where betting exchanges come into play, right?
Yeah.
Because their business model completely changes the dynamic. They don't actually care if I win.
You've hit on the most crucial structural difference in sports betting. If a betting exchange is legally available in your state, it should be your primary hedging tool.
Why is that?
Because traditional sportsbooks act as the house. They take your bet, and if your team wins, the sportsbook physically loses its own money. They have a vested interest in you losing.
Which is why they ban winners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a betting exchange is entirely different. It is just a peer-to-peer technology platform. It simply matches you with another regular person out in the world who wants to take the opposite side of your wager.
Okay, so the exchange itself has no risk in the game.
None. They simply take a tiny commission fee on the final winnings for facilitating the connection.
Meaning they actually want me to place massive hedges.
Oh, they love it.
They want high volume, regardless of my win rate, because more volume equals more transaction fees.
They love sharp bettors. They are the ideal restriction-free sanctuary for placing your lay bets and your hedges because their profit model aligns perfectly with your high-volume matched betting strategy.
That structural difference is massive.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to dive into a concept that feels a bit more advanced, but is wildly important for account health.
Let's do it.
closing line value, or CLV. This feels like the secret mathematical language of risk managers.
It absolutely is.
From my understanding, consistently beating the closing line is what really gets you flagged, because it proves your long-term expected value is positive.
It is the ultimate metric sportsbooks use to evaluate a player's threat level.
So how does it work exactly?
Closing line value is essentially measuring the odds you secured when you initially placed your wager against the final odds offered at the exact moment the game begins.
Let's trace a bet to see how this works. Give me an example.
Okay, let's say on a Tuesday morning, you bet on a football team at plus 150 odds.
Okay.
As the week progresses, public money pours in on that team. Maybe a key player on the opposing team gets injured, right? And the sportsbook adjusts to the risk.
Sure.
By Sunday kickoff, the odds on your team have shifted all the way down to minus 110.
So my Tuesday ticket at plus 150 holds significantly more value than what the market eventually decided the true probability was. I beat the closing line.
You beat the market consensus. Now, if you do that occasionally, the sportsbook's algorithm chalks it up to blind luck.
Recreational bettors get lucky sometimes.
Exactly. But if your account history shows that you are consistently placing bets that beat the closing line across dozens of wagers,
The algorithm recognizes a distinct pattern.
it realizes you aren't guessing. It realizes you either have a sophisticated predictive model or you are using odds-matching software to identify value before the market corrects itself.
You are mathematically sharper than their odds makers, and they don't need to wait for the games to end to know that.
Nope. They know that over a long enough timeline, your positive expected value will drain their coffers.
So they ban you even if you happen to be on a losing streak.
They absolutely will. They limit accounts based on the mathematical quality of the bets, not just the raw profit and loss.
So to avoid this trap, you have to manage your timing.
Yes. Betting lines are most volatile in the days leading up to an event. However, in the hour right before a game starts, the market has settled.
The line is usually very sharp and very stable.
Exactly. By placing your matched bets closer to the start of the event, you drastically reduce the window for the line to move.
Making it incredibly difficult for your account to accidentally generate suspicious closing line value.
That's the secret. Just wait until the market settles.
That is a brilliant, actionable adjustment. Okay, so we've covered the nuances of blending in.
Yeah.
Now we need to cover the absolute cardinal sins.
The things that will get an account taken out back and dealt with instantly.
Exactly. And I have to admit, the one that tests my discipline the most revolves around pricing errors.
Oh, palpable errors.
Right. Let's create a scenario.
Yeah.
I open my odds screen, and every single sports book in the country has the Philadelphia Phillies money line at minus 250. They are massive favorites.
Okay.
But some intern at one specific smaller sports book makes a typo and accidentally lists the Phillies at plus 200.
It happens?
My absolute primal matched better instinct is to smash that button for a massive, guaranteed arbitrage opportunity. I want to exploit that typo.
I understand the temptation. I really do.
Yeah,
It feels like finding a $100 bill lying on the sidewalk. But I'm telling you to run the other way.
really. But it's right there.
It is a catastrophic trap. If you attempt to smash that heavily mispriced line, you are inviting a disaster scenario.
Why? What happens?
First, every single legal sportsbook has a palpable error clause buried in their terms and conditions.
Meaning an obvious, glaring mistake
Yeah.
that any reasonable person would recognize as a typo.
Exactly. And when their risk department realizes the typo, and they will realize it incredibly quickly, that clause gives them the legal right to simply void your bet entirely.
As if it never happened.
Yes. Now, think about the mechanics of matched betting. If you have already placed a massive hedge on another sportsbook, assuming this plus 200 bet is locked in,
And the plus 200 bet gets voided.
you are suddenly completely exposed. You now have a massive unhedged gamble resting on the other sportsbook.
Oh, wow. If that game goes the wrong way, you could lose a significant amount of your bankroll.
It's a terrifying domino effect, and it gets worse.
How does it get worse?
Not only do they void the bet and leave you exposed, but their system immediately flags every single user account that attempted to exploit that specific error.
They categorize it as predatory behavior.
Yes. Actively hunting for obvious mispriced lines is the single fastest way to get your account permanently limited. The minimal potential upside is never worth the massive structural risk to your entire matched betting operation.
The juice is definitively not worth a squeeze.
Definitely not.
Let's transition to another highly sensitive area, moving the money itself. I imagine withdrawal behavior is heavily scrutinized.
Heavily.
Like if a user signs up, deposits $100, clears the promotional bonus, makes their guaranteed profit, and then immediately withdraws their entire balance down to zero just 10 minutes later. That looks incredibly suspicious.
The industry term for that is hit-and-run behavior. Sportsbooks monitor your deposit and withdrawal velocity just as closely as your betting patterns.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you immediately drain the account the very second a bonus clears, you are practically screaming to the algorithm that you are matched better methodically extracting value.
So what's the internal protocol?
We strongly advise keeping that money in the ecosystem for weeks or even months. Place a few more of those regular mug bets. Utilize that specific book for your standard hedge bets. Cycle the money through the platform a bit.
And when you finally do initiate a withdrawal...
Never withdraw every last cent.
Oh, interesting.
Always leave a fractional balance behind so it looks like an active, ongoing recreational account waiting for the next weekend of games.
It's all about playing the long game and simulating the life cycle of a normal customer.
Precisely.
Now, speaking of trying to outsmart the system, there is one final cardinal sin. Multi-accounting.
Oh, don't do it.
It's incredibly tempting for people to try and double dip on lucrative sign-up bonuses by setting up accounts in the name of their spouse, their roommate, or, their grandmother.
Right.
But I know for a fact the platforms have advanced tools to catch this.
They do, and you simply shouldn't attempt it. It is strictly against every sportsbook's policy.
People think they are being clever by using a different name and email address.
But they forget that sportsbooks employ incredibly invasive device fingerprinting. They track the IP address of the router you are using. They log the specific MC address of the laptop or smartphone you log in from.
Wow, they see everything.
They cross-reference banking details and physical residential addresses. If you log into your account and then log into your spouse's account from the exact same home Wi-Fi network.
The algorithm instantly links the two profiles.
Exactly. When they catch it, it results in harsh, permanent restrictions, frozen funds, and bans across all associated accounts in that household.
That's devastating.
You simply do not need to break the rules to make exceptional money here. Just use the traditional matched betting process to safely maximize the promos they willingly offer.
Okay, let's zoom out and look at the whole board.
Okay.
We've detailed the necessity of browsing like a casual fan, rounding bet sizes, understanding the deep ocean liquidity of major markets, dodging closing line value traps, avoiding palpable errors, and timing withdrawals carefully.
It's a lot.
I have to be honest, juggling every single one of these variables simultaneously feels like navigating a minefield blindfolded. Trying to do this entirely on your own, manually cross-referencing odds while keeping every behavioral rule in your head.
It leaves you entirely at the mercy of billion-dollar risk management algorithms.
And usually, if you fly solo, you end up finding out what works the hard way, which means suffering a ban.
And that exact friction point is what stops so many intelligent people from succeeding long-term. You get one or two accounts limited because you made a tiny behavioral error, and you assume the entire matched betting system is broken.
But the system isn't broken.
No, you simply need enterprise-level tools to navigate it. And that is the foundational reason the ProfitDuel platform was built.
Right, because trying to outsmart a machine learning algorithm with a spiral notebook and a pocket calculator is a losing battle.
A completely losing battle. You need an automated map. Utilizing an elite matched betting service like ProfitDuel removes the guesswork entirely.
Tell me more about that.
We're talking about automating promo conversion, arbitrage detection, and expected value betting through purpose-built, incredibly fast software.
Which saves a ton of time.
But more importantly, when you have a platform that serves over 500,000 users across the USA and the UK, you aren't guessing about what keeps an account healthy.
Because you have the data.
You are utilizing aggregated real-time data from 500,000 bettors to know exactly which behaviors trigger bans and which behaviors keep accounts pristine.
It provides the software to find the bets, the step-by-step walkthroughs to execute them safely, and a massive community data set to protect your longevity.
It transforms this from a stressful side hustle into a consistent, mathematically sound strategy.
And since they offer a 7-day trial, you can test the software risk-free. It equips you to turn this into reliable monthly earnings simply by giving you the blueprint to play the game perfectly.
Which, brings to mind a rather profound thought as we look toward the future of this industry.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What's that?
Well, we've spent this entire deep dive discussing how sportsbooks are constantly updating their machine learning algorithms to detect match bettors.
Right.
while matched bettors equipped with platforms like ProfitDuel are constantly tweaking their behaviors to look more and more like flawed, casual human gamblers.
It's a total cat and mouse game.
It is.
Oh.
But what happens next? What happens when matched bettors begin deploying AI agents themselves to perfectly and automatically mimic human inconsistencies, place mug bets, and time withdrawals?
Oh, wow.
Are we heading toward a future where sports betting is no longer humans against the house, but simply an invisible, silent war of algorithms fighting each other in the cloud?
That is a fascinating technological arms race. The casino boss tapping you on the shoulder might soon just be a string of code battling another string of code. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.